Glenn Beck describes Obama White House's Russiagate meeting as a deep state panic. And I agree with him. That's exactly what it was. They panicked because they were like, wow, Trump really is going to win this 2016 election. And so they had to come up with a scheme to try to push him out the paint. That's what this whole thing is about. But we're going to play the clip. We're going to hear what Glenn Beck has to say about this. And I'll give some of my insight as well. But before we get started, go ahead and hit that like button. Share this out so we can get this information out there. Subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. And hit that alarm bell so you know when I'm putting out new stuff. Also, check out my link tree in the description. It has a link to my Patreon. That's where I talk about things that I can't talk about here. There's also a link to my Instagram and my X account, so follow me there as well. All right, so let's get right to the clip here. Here we go.
Back to the new and recently declassified data. In these, from December 7th, 2016, the talking points prepared for Obama's Director of National Intelligence, James Clapper, claiming, quote, "We assess that foreign adversaries did not use cyber attacks on the election infrastructure to alter the United States presidential election outcome this year. We have no evidence of cyber manipulation of election infrastructure intended to alter the results." Okay.
Wait a minute. But that's what Obama said, the exact opposite of that. Obama, his administration, his goons, his the deep state, the intel community publicly said the exact opposite of that. Well, why is that? Why is that? To try to go after Trump. I mean, it's obvious. This is something the mainstream media will not show you. They will not show you this declassified letter.
All right. But nobody at this point was really even talking about were they hacking into systems. It was all about Trump having a tie to a Russian bank, Trump being in bed. He's going to be a puppet now. All of that. That's what people were talking about because that's what they were alleging through the press.
Yeah.
Now, on December 8th, 2016, the presidential daily brief draft, just a month after the election, states that Russia, quote, did not impact the recent U.S. election results. Well, now this particular, because this draft comes out here, that means he's the president-elect. So if it's in the presidential daily briefing, Michael Flynn and Donald Trump will get that same draft. They will see the same report when it comes in. So later that day, phone call comes in. Stop. Do not release that draft. Do not give it to the president. Why? Well, it came from the Office of the Director of National Intelligence. Quote, "Based on some new guidance, we're going to push back publication of the PDB. It will not run tomorrow and is not likely to run until next week."
So give us some time to come up with something. Give us till next week to come up with some false stuff so we can set up Trump. So we're not going to release this because we want to try to set up Trump.
Notice it says on some new guidance. Guidance, not new information, new guidance. And who gave that guidance? Well, the answer comes the very next day. December 9th, 2016, Obama's national security team meet in the Situation Room for 2 hours, 11:30 to 1:30. Take a look at the names that attended. Barack Obama, Susan Rice, John Brennan, James Comey, Ben Rhodes, John Kerry, Loretta Lynch, Jay Johnson, Victoria Nuland, and Joe Biden. I mean, this is the deep state.
Yes.
It is the biggest deep state officials, the gathering. It was like a deep state picnic. How many other scandals are linked just to those names?
Right.
All right. During the meeting, the shift occurred. It was a shift that defied every single intelligence community assessment up until this point. Because remember, Trump was not supposed to win. Now the president gives the National Security Council new marching orders. Quote, "The IC is prepared to produce an assessment per the president's request that pulls together the information we have on the tools and the actions it took to influence the 2016 election. An explanation of why Moscow directed these activities and how Moscow's approach has changed over time. Notice it doesn't say, based on new intelligence. It doesn't say, hey, by the way, there was nothing that changed the election, digitally. But as we've been talking about the whole time, no, we don't have a new whistleblower. We don't have any super secret intercepts that prove yada, yada, yada. Nothing. It's direction from this man. This is what I wanted to read per the president's request. Obama was unhappy, and the witch hunt commenced, or should I say the coup commenced.
Yeah, that's what it was.
And guess what else happened that day? This is a wild coincidence. The Washington Post actually has a story that drops this day. Secret CIA assessment says Russia was trying to help Trump win. Wow. The same day President Obama came to that conclusion and said, this is what I want this to. The same day.
Obvious. It's so obvious what happened.
What a coincidence. Now, keep in mind, every assessment up until that day claimed all of this was bogus. But Obama made the request and told them all to go back to the drawing board and figure out something else. And suddenly, that same day, the Washington Post receives information from super secret but high authority that furthers the narrative. At this point in the timeline, we're not out of 2016. And it gets crazier once Donald Trump assumes office, which I believe was the entire point. The entire timeline now is about to snowball into investigation, threats of impeachment, questionable federal judges, media frenzy, and so much more. The entire mass conspiracy comes together by the end, and I will show you the end of this board when we come back.
Wow. I mean, we have all the evidence. We have all the receipts, and the mainstream media, like I said yesterday, they continue to ignore this and pretend like, oh, there's no there, when we have all the receipts to show that there was a deep state coup headed by Barack Obama to try to take out the incoming president of the United States, Donald Trump. And this is something I've been saying for years now. Now we got the release classified information to prove everything we've been alluding to over the years is absolutely true. But I'll ask the question again. Will Barack Obama be held accountable? Will the intel community be held accountable for their sedition, for their treason? I'm not too optimistic on that, but y'all let me know what y'all think. Leave y'all comments down below. Like, share, and subscribe, and check out jjthepsychotherapist.com for the latest in news. Until next time, peace.